The Story of Growl. Scene 1. Action! Good, look at the tension. What the hell? What? I can't work under these conditions. It's ridiculous, absolutely. Welcome, friends. Do you ever yearn for a gaming experience that fills you with pride? How about a cause as noble as joining the fight against animal cruelty? Well, allow me to present Growl. Ooh. A game that fulfills your noble goals by viciously requesting that you give a gang of animal poachers a good kicking. However, if you scratch off this atom-thick veneer of a cause, you'll be presented with a game that has a sanity level that is about one horse short of a glue factory. This game was gently introduced into arcades at gunpoint in the month of March in 1980-79 and soon became a massive hit, mainly for the arcade owners who soon found themselves able to pay off their mortgages and put down deposits on yachts and sports cars. Although your smear poaches up the nearest wall quest is noble, the story appears to have missed the bus on the way to work, as nearly every other detail about your quest is completely ignored. Who are your gang of intrepid animal defenders? Oh, I know this one. It's the Ranger Corps. Who is the evil gang of poachers? Pfft, who cares? Where in the world is the game set? Luke, I'm sick of your questions. Make it up, shut up, and feed me more coins, you peasant. As you've seen on this channel before, this is another one of those left-to-right walking violence simulators. We won't have any of that walking right-to-left nonsense here. That kind of attitude is for anarchistic dissidents who want to bring down society. Before we begin this noble quest, let's look at the arcade game art for an idea about the type of game we're dealing with. We can see that this is a no-nonsense game brimming with raw testosterone and serious non-stop scrap-happy action. The arcade marquee, on the other hand, not so much. Normally, we would look at the game's control scheme, but we don't need any of that nonsense here. Look at this button, and only this button. This lends your well-toned tossbot the ability to use his machine gun punch, fire weapons, kick stools across the map, and to whip it like a champion. This is your central task. Get the whip and you'll enter God mode. Lose the whip and you'll be dogpiled into a fine pace by the many dozens of enemies that infest the average screen. Once we add our first of many credits, we are presented with 4 buff buffoons to choose from. Well, it seems that it's really 2 muscle-bound clods, but for some reason, having portraits that face in different directions or are covered in varying amounts of headwear can vastly alter your physical capabilities. Again, the names of these punch machines are just another frivolous detail that the developers felt was a waste of time to add to this ever-vanishing plot. I'm going to choose Jockstrap Jones on the right, as the mere suggestion you choose anyone who can't punch their way through a steel girder will result in you experiencing further financial ruin. The story dribbles onto the screen in all of its 5-second glory, with Jock answering a call on their 1950s style telephone, the same phone that he's too embarrassed to admit he didn't have plugged in. The tone of the whole charade is set in this one scene. Somehow, his grenade-proof shoes stopped him from being vaporised on the spot, while the roof of the bar is still orbiting the Earth along with the International Space Station. Our Jockstrap Jones is certainly a versatile fighter, as he demonstrates his dizzying array of moves that include punches, extensions of his arm and clenched fist to make contact with a malcontent face, and stand in the middle of a group of enemies with the whip and simply pound the attack button a million times. Even though our violent marauding idiot lacks even the smallest speck of charisma, he makes up for this with the adoration he receives from the animals he sloppily liberates, as they will happily join in with your fight. The range of critters includes this recently smashed about lion, to this sparrow that was found glued, arsehole first, to this poacher's face as a prank. After limping through our sprawling town that consists of exactly 3 buildings and a railway station, we come across our first boss, who demonstrates that he is too stupid to even understand the concept of driving a car, as he ends up throwing it at you in a fit of screeching confusion. This master of the martial arts then follows this carefully honed technique with a flailing windmill punch you would expect off a sugar-addled angry school kid during a particularly hastily prepared playground scrap. Hark! I hear a question from the audience. Oh come on, Mr. P. Asylum, aren't you taking the sarcasm a bit too far this time? Of course not! I am a simple custodian of the facts. Look, it's here on this perfectly sensible advert, Masters of Martial Arts. I would never be sarcastic during a video, that would be frightful. Don't worry though, we'll get back to this other completely original character later on. Following more punching action on the top of this train because, why not? We come to the game's only bonus stage that allows you to free more eagles from their cages. Here I was, throwing barrels at the cages like some deranged monkey, and suddenly, one of the eagles slipped me a fully automatic weapon it had hidden under one of its wings. Yes, shooting the locks off these cages is a far more sensible option. Birds are bulletproof, right? Ah, they'll be fine. Our ludicrous escapade now takes us through iconic levels such as Slightly Different Layout Town, fight on a boat with a D-list elephant man and accompanying pachyderm boss, and recent elephant and tank altercation parked up in front of... Oh god, no! Second only to the white noise of creativity that is the sewer level, we have the credit-shredding filthy combo of 1,000 lava pits, spike traps, bats, and stupid man can't jump syndrome. Combined with being knocked back every other second by anything from a scalding ball of fiery death to a passing bat's wet fart, this level will leave you rolling around on the arcade floor crying and desperately pleading for the game to be turned off. After emerging from the cave of 1,000 lost credits, a slide down the mountain on a chunk of said mountain, and calling an eagle equivalent of an Uber, we finally arrive at the poacher hideout where there are a nice group of copy and pasty bosses waiting to fight us. Again. Look at this mess! Now we have a fight against... you. Wait a minute. If I couldn't get my idiotic bow-legged ass out of a protagonist to make a simple jump in that cave of burning, death, roasting, torture, broiling, boiling, heat, smoke, flames and fire, how did this arsehole manage to bring that broken tank to the battle? The same tank that was sat outside the cave! Let's take a closer look at our leader of the poachers, shall we? Wait. When I think of an evil leader of a gang of ruthless poachers, I certainly don't think of a combination of Wolverine, Penguin, Joker and the Phantom of the Opera. Oh, there was the last blow and...
What the?
Oh, goody. The same guy that smashed together 4 other characters and called it a day was watching Alien that night as well. Oh, bloody joy. Ugh, we'd just do the same as we did during the entire charade and hammer the attack button until we're given permission to make the game end. After we finally beat this stack of beach balls and fangs, we are treated to the sight of the animals escaping the enclosure through a locked gate without any human intervention whatsoever. This is followed by a paragraph of premium grade A fluff explaining that harmony between man and nature has been restored. Well, that's all well and good, but at what cost? Now it's clear that all this destruction was clearly worth it, I can meander pointlessly through the devastation and deliver my final verdict. This game brings together a large array of promising ideas and then promptly smashes them together until all that's left is a soupy mess of bad choices and regret. The addition of the animal theme is just the cherry and dusting of sugar on a pie made entirely out of lawn clippings and diced worms. This game is one horse with 4 broken legs you will not want to save. My final rating is a stop animal cruelty sign made entirely from leather and pork chops placed in a tasteful elephant bone frame out of 10. If you enjoyed this episode, please consider leaving a like, or subscribing for more idiocy such as this. Until next time, goodbye friends.